to tell you that since 2005, I have been very, very vocal against the International Criminal Court style, substance, approach, the way they have gone about with their work to indict Africans and other people that have come across to this court. Ladies and gentlemen, the framers of the Rome Statute were very clear, and I would like to state here, before we go to the main discussion, where we shall bring in Miriam in Nairobi, I want to make some statements that can be taken as facts. The framers of the Rome Statute were very clear on Article 127 of the Rome Statute. And what does the article say? The article in summary simply says that if you have a problem and you have found yourself in a problem, it is reconcilable differences between you and the International Criminal Court. Any member state, a state party, can write to the United Nations Secretary General, who is the Secretary General of the United Nations Security Council, and tell them you are no longer interested in staying in International Criminal Court. Because of these reasons, we can't work together. The biasness, the type of prostitution, the type of profiling that has taken place in this court. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very important, therefore, for you people in Africa to be aware that African Union decided that we leave International Criminal Court amongst all of us, the 54 nations, made a resolution to quit International Criminal Court and come back on the continent of Africa to strengthen our own African Court of Justice and Human Rights. I want to thank the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, in Addis Ababa in 2016, yes, heads of state summit. Uhuru Kenyatta contributed $1 million in a check from the Kenya government for setting up of African Court of Justice and Human Rights. That money was presented. I was there. I saw the presentation. We decided as Africans that we shall not go back to this court. We shall not honor this court. This court does not fund us. This court does not fund you. This court does not help your economy. This court does not help your politics. This court only divides people in Africa. This court encourages people in Africa to commit crimes so that they will refer people to the ICC. Is it worth the court now that this court is there for people to go and commit crimes, then say, I will take you to the ICC. I will do this to the ICC. I'm going to call in ICC. Look, we have a problem as Africans. Why don't we refer ourselves to our courts? Why don't we refer ourselves? Why don't we respect our own courts, our African courts, where judges are selected on merit? This court has no merit. The judges are not selected on merit on this court. Ladies and gentlemen, they have no merit. is a diplomatic court. It's a court where diplomats sit down and select who should be the judge. You have no say in this court. The chief prosecutor takes everybody he wants. He comes and selects the tall one, the short one, and others. He collects them. He brings them down to the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Ladies and gentlemen, is this the court? But above all, the framers who were there, we said this court could become very dictatorial. It could become a dictator, just as like some dictators on the African continent who still beat up people, who still molest people. We put a clause, Article 127 of the Roma Statute. I don't know whether Miriam has been accepted. I have sent you a request so that you can read that article as we begin the next session. The ICC, therefore, does not serve any African continent to stay in this organization. African countries should start going away from this International Criminal Court. African presidents should think first, should be careful. Whoever you are, whether you are in power today and you will be out of power tomorrow, get our African court. Let's bring back African Union. Let's bring our union back to ourselves and have our African Court of Justice and Human Rights working for the people of Africa. I submit, therefore, that today is a great day for me. That Article 127 of the Roman Statute is very clear. Do you want to stay there? Do you want to leave? When do you leave? How do you leave? You write to the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, or you write where? You write to the Secretary General of the United Nations and tell him that the marriage is irreconcilable. The divorce is imminent. They will take 2 years to understand the problem, and after 2 years, you will exit. I am shocked, ladies and gentlemen, those listening to me on the Twitter space, that up today, we still have African countries hanging on there on the ICC. We still have South Africa. An example that is going to happen, Mr. Putin is going to visit South Africa in July, and they will visit several African countries that are signatories. 34 nations, 33 nations of Africa are member states of the ICC. Tell me, when Putin decided to visit 3-4 countries that are member states, are we going to take all of them and choose them to the United Nations Security Council? Shall we put embargo on them? Why do you wait for embargo when you can be free? Remember, South Africa failed to arrest Bashir. What happened to South Africa? Remember, Kenya failed to arrest Bashir. What happened to Kenya? Remember, Chad failed to arrest Bashir. Nigeria, these states have been blacklisted. They have been put on a mark in the United Nations Security Council judicial systems. Do we need that? Was it created to police Africa? Why is it not arresting Sarkozy? Why hasn't it arrested Nicolas Sarkozy, the guy who killed Muammar Gaddafi, stole his money, went to use his money to campaign in France, and the court in France has found him guilty for having used money to bribe voters to vote for him. And we in Africa, we are still calling ourselves African Union, running around that we are African Union chairperson. You can't propose. No African can propose a warrant of arrest for Mr. Sarkozy in any courts in Africa, that when he steps here for holiday anywhere, a warrant of arrest is patched on him. And we put him in court for having destroyed Libya and left Libya for us to harass, to harness, to bring peace, to try to see whether peace will come in Libya. It is a big, big struggle, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. That is the much that I wanted to say. We now begin our full discussion. And I invite Miriam, if you are ready, to take on to tell us Article 127. You are a very good reader. And you speak very well. Read it very nicely for the people on the platforms, both platforms, to understand what Article 127 means. Over to you, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. Article 127 on the withdrawal. If someone wishes to withdraw from the Rome Statute, a member, just hold on. This is what the Rome Statute said about a member seeking to withdraw from the Rome Statute. I just lost it here. I had it here. I'm trying. Okay, it's right here. So withdrawal. A state party may, by written notification addressed to the Secretary General to the United Nations, withdraw from the statute. The withdrawal shall take effect 1 year after the date of receipt of the notification, unless the notification specifies a later date. And the second part of that article says, a state shall not be discharged by reason of its withdrawal from the obligations arising from the statute while it was a party to the statute, including any financial obligations which may have accrued. Its withdrawal shall not affect any cooperation with the court in connection with criminal investigations and proceedings in relation to which the withdrawing state had a duty to cooperate and which were commenced prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective, nor shall prejudice in any way be continued consideration of any matter which was already under consideration by the court prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective. So as that is what Article 127 on the withdrawal from the Rome Statute there stipulates, that if a party may, by written notification addressed to the Secretary General to the United Nations, withdraw from the statute. So I guess for any country or state across Africa wanting to withdraw, that is what they're mandated to do. And Doc, we know there has been some efforts before over some countries that had expressed their wish to withdraw from the ICC in 2016. And the three countries, Burundi, the Gambia, and South Africa, signaled their intention to leave the International Criminal Court. There was fear that more countries would follow after years of criticism. It appears as if aggrieved African countries will be making good on their repeated threats to leave the courts, and in October 2016, Burundi and South Africa formally wrote to the United Nations Secretary General to communicate their decision to withdraw from the ICC. Around the same time, the Gambia, a tiny country tucked into Senegal off the West African coast, also indicated that it would withdraw, only to reverse course almost immediately after a newly elected government assumed power. Since then, the feared exodus from the ICC by African countries has not materialized, not even after the African Union reportedly agreed on a strategy calling for a collective withdrawal from the court. Meanwhile, compelled by its own courts for having failed to follow proper legal procedures, South Africa ended up revoking its notice of withdrawal in March of 2016, and this is what Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has called the court. He said this is a bunch of useless people. Ugandan President once called the ICC, while his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame say the court was never about justice but politics disguised as international justice. And of course, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, who once faced indictment by the ICC, castigated the court as a tool of global power politics and not the justice it was built to dispense. And of course, a lot of other African leaders have since expressed their dissatisfaction by the International Criminal Court there. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. That is a good background that you have given. And there are countries that say they will withdraw. I remember I visited South Africa and we agreed with Zuma. And President Zuma told me at the State House when we had a meeting of 25 minutes, he said he was going to withdraw. And he made it very clear that can you write a document and give to my legal department and see how best, what are the disadvantages. I wrote a statement, Miriam, and as soon as Ramaphosa came to power in South Africa, Ramaphosa reversed the entire process and said, no withdrawal. Now, Mr. Ramaphosa in South Africa is faced with Mr. Putin. Mr. Putin is arrested. He's going to, before we come to the next stage, where how far have we gone with Putin case? Very interesting case. Mr. Putin is going to visit South Africa. In July 12th, there will be BRICS meeting there in South Africa of about 30, 40, 60, actually almost 100 countries for BRICS. They are forming a new currency that threatens America. Dollar. They will be visiting that area. Putin will be in Johannesburg, Pretoria. Now, will South Africa arrest Putin? Media and my viewers and all of you who are here, will South Africa arrest Putin? Where will you do? Can you try to arrest Putin? Which country in the world can arrest Putin and put him in jail? Which jail can you put if Russians don't come and take you out? Is this just a circus? This is not a court. This is a public relations exercise when people in Ukraine have died. People have died. We want people to be brought to justice. Why have people not been brought to justice? People in Ukraine have died. But you can't go to Ukraine and you fail to go to Russia. The chief prosecutor should have gone to both sides. Because Ukrainians are also sending missiles, the ones that the Americans are giving them the latest missiles. They are not hitting air. They are hitting human beings and buildings in Russia. So, in my balance, and the balance of probability, I'm telling you, if this goes on the way it is, if I were President Museveni, President Ruto, President anywhere, any president in Africa, Mnangagwa is not part of it. Any president, Chakwera, the who's, if I were them, I would concentrate on forming my African court. Run away from this court now. And the market date I've told you today is 23rd March 2023. You will remember my words. I might be around to hear them, or I might not be around to hear them. Because it is God's destiny. It's God who decides whether I will come, I'll be there or not. But my words will resonate in your ears, Mr. President. If you don't withdraw from this obnoxious court, leave it to these guys who formed it. It is being used as a tool to bring more conflict, maybe on the continent of Africa. Tell me, indictment in Congo. What has happened in Congo is a charade, complete charade. There is no commander of the Congolese army, official government army, who has been indicted by the ICC. We have only indicted rebels. What about the soldiers who rape people, who killed people, who torture people? Are there no soldiers on that side whom we should have taken to Congo? Look at Ivory Coast. We went and indicted Babuku, and we left Mr. Quatara. Yet Mr. Babuku and Quatara were fighting. None of them was using water to shoot. All of them were using bullets. So why did we leave one and we took the other one? Look at Bozize and Bemba. Mr. Bozize invited Bemba to help him to quell an army coup. They indicted Bemba and they left Bozize. Is that justice? Go up in Libya. They indicted Gaddafi's family, the sons, everybody. They left the terrorists who came and armed themselves and took over Libya. So was the other side shooting with water? The pattern of indictment of ICC is very funny. In Kenya, yourselves, medium where you are, you know very well that is what has happened. They indicted, picked up 6 people, but the investigations were not done in a manner that you could sustain a case in the International Criminal Court. We lost. The people died. You took wrong suspects. You took wrong people. You politically witch-hunted. You politically sat with George Soros and said, we want to take this tall one and a short one and another one. There was no justice there. Go back to Uganda, my country. They investigated all the cases very well. So the best thing for us in Uganda, what we did, was to ignore ICC. As President Museveni has, Miriam, the statement Museveni said, he said they are very useless people. Can you read that statement for us again? And then what President Museveni said about ICC.
Mm-hmm.
He said it is a useless organization with useless people. And Your Excellency, make it right. Get out of this ICC. It doesn't help us. The High Court in Uganda is able. The mistake that ICC has made, and which I want Africans to understand, ICC was not formed to be a court that usurps national jurisdiction. It was a complementary court. But all African people are making it to look like it is a court to solve their problems. That everybody is writing there. Every Tom and Dick Harry wants to write it to ICC. ICC won't help you. You can only be helped by yourselves having a court, arrest people, take them to court, charge them, sentence them. ICC is a complementary court. We shouldn't be slaves. We ran away from slavery. But we Africans are now being slaves by thinking about the ICC. You find an educated man with PhD, several PhD degrees, saying, you find Besigye in Uganda, saying, I'm going to take people to the ICC. Mr. Besigye, there is a court in Uganda called the Special Division of the High Court of Republic of Uganda. If people have committed, whether President Museveni or who has committed any crime, let them go to that Special Division of the High Court of Uganda that deals with international justice. section department. Each country, the court was not created to be the super presidency of the whole world, to supervise the whole world. You have given the chief prosecutor prominence. You even give him headlines. This is a small civil servant, small cleric officer who is a lawyer who should be just to take people to court. You have given him too much powers for nothing. That to the extent that he's making mistakes, very serious mistakes, of going to indict a superpower. What will you do to the Security Council? Russia is a member of the Security Council. It can veto you. Even if you have got what type of, you have 10 horns on your body. Can you indict America? Can you indict America? Can you indict China? Mr. Karim Khan, my brother Karim Khan, why don't you think at times, instead of talking too much? Nothing. Zero. And for me, Dr. Matsanga, Karim, you are my friend. We struggled together to get, you know how the Kenyan cases, how bad they are. You know it. You are part and parcel of us struggling to make sure that we free innocent people. And I'm shocked today that you have turned up to be on the side that glorifies impunity by bigger stakes directing you to go and indict Russia. I'm not standing. By bigger stakes directing you to go and indict Russia. I'm not standing in for Russia. But I tell you, Mr. Khan, if they tell me to stand for them, and I hope the Russian ambassador should be seeing my clip, I will send you, you hire me to expose this court. Hire me. I'm looking for that job. The jobs are asked for. I'm looking for that job, Russia. Hire me. This is the man the court fears most on planet Earth. Hire me. I know their weaknesses. They have nothing they can place. They are zero. They have zero investigations. Can I shock you, Miriam? Ethiopia. Have you seen they sent there 2 ladies in Ethiopia? What did I tell you? I told you here, Miriam, and on this platform, that Betty Mirungi and Fatou Bensouda will do a shorter job in Ethiopia. Have you seen what Ethiopia has done? Ethiopia has rejected their report. Because Fatou Bensouda cannot investigate. She's a compromised candidate. She's compromised. They can't bring in an independent report that will say, this one killed, this one did this, this one did. They are compromised. So why did you collect them to bring them that they are investigating something in Ethiopia? Where are the Ethiopian? Bring the report out. Don't just go. Blinken is flying into Ethiopia to harass the Ethiopian Prime Minister, to harass him about human rights. We wanted that report out. Miriam, we want the report out. We want to read the report. We want the report of Bensouda so that we can poke holes in their investigations with Betty Mirungi. Betty Mirungi is a Kenyan lady who does not like anybody, who wanted the 2 presidents, the 2 men in Kenya to go to jail for life. And here you are telling me that she can be very neutral. Because she has a name, you have appointed her to investigate. Why don't you get proper investigators? I am an international activist. I have a right to talk about for the silent millions worldwide, Miriam. There are millions worldwide who are suffering. They need a court to deliver justice. In Bosnia, in Croatia, in Macedonia. We took both sides, Serbs, Croatians, Bosnians. They are all there. Albanians, they are all in The Hague. Milosevic died, collapsed and died. Another one collapsed and died. They were all there. Another general is sentenced to life from Bosnia. That is the type of investigations that we are looking for. In the side of Yugoslavian tribunal, it was done very well. Why does ICC do things in a wrong way? For me, I will not keep quiet. I'll continue to speak and speak until the truth comes out. I have no worry. There are Africans, some of the Africans who say, oh, ICC must be brought, must be there to take people. Why don't we put these guys in African firing squad? You have killed Africans, then you want to be given table tennis, to play table tennis away in Hague. You know, firing squad back here at home while people are seeing you. Yes. Thank you very much. Let me bring in Miriam. You have some words or any background before we move on to open the mic for other people to speak.
Well, thank you so much for that submission, Doc. I think I already shared my background and my sentiments on the current warrant of arrest by ICC towards Russian President Vladimir Putin, which I think really will not happen. And I think South Africa has come out to say that it will be discussing with Russia on how to go about this warrant of arrest. That is to tell you that South Africa values its diplomatic relations with Russia so much that it has no intentions of jeopardizing that. So that is futile. And I think at this point, Putin might just want to travel around the world and around member states of the ICC who have ratified the Rome Statute just to show that he can, because he knows nobody's going to arrest him. And just to spit on the forces behind perhaps this warrant of arrest. But nevertheless, I think maybe the question that we might be grappling with this afternoon is just 12 noon here in Nairobi, East African time, is even after the cases that we've seen play out in the ICC, that a lot of them are clearly targeted towards Africa and its leadership. Why is it that still African countries, even with that mass exodus that was expected to take place in 2016, failed? And why do we still continue to be members of the ICC? Is it because we don't have faith in our own judicial abilities and institutions in our countries, or why is it that African countries are reluctant to move out of this Rome Statute? Because we started by reading through that Article 127 that allows and stipulates the procedures. What is the reluctance? Why do we still need to be there, even with what is perceived to be unfair treatment that Africans have been getting, and the perception that we've seen even play out? It appears as if this court was just built for African leadership and for Africans and a few other countries around the world, but mostly for Africans, but still insist on being there. What is it about us and this court that, as much as it appears to be quite biased, but we still find a need to be part of it? I think that is what I'm grappling to understand this afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much, Miriam. Let's open up the mic, and we bring in the first speaker, Rauben Kula. You are the first speaker on this subject. You have the mic now. Rauben, go ahead and speak. Mr. Rauben, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Rauben Kula. I'm from Uganda, and I would like to talk about this issue of calling Putin in the ICC. According to me, I see it can't work, because if you can see, Russia as a nation can't allow their president to be an mind just like that. As you could remember the other time when Biden just talked about it and said, and Putin is a criminal. You see, the parliament could shout out, we can't call a president, our president, a criminal. So, as I could take a look at it, it can be possible. According to me, it can be possible. And even this issue I've been talking about these African countries to make their own court just to judge in out. Yeah, it's good. It's good for African countries just to separate from the whites. But they say the issue we've been talking about of this best day to go to the High Court of Uganda. The Court of Uganda can't do, of course. You know, the other time when this issue that the previous elections of 2021, Bobi Wine went to court and issued the case of the DP forms that were misplaced, what, and never. But the judge who did not agree with the six, because there are seven, the board and the one who did not agree with the six, and was Honorable uh, Esther. Esther Sache. You know, the chief justice took off his microphone, the days, the word, the reports, what all of that. Can work. I know Africa needs more prayers, I think. That is my talk. Yeah.
Reuben, you are saying in Uganda it is impossible.
Yes, in Uganda I see it is impossible.
You speak near your phone.
Yes, I'm near now.
You are speaking near your phone, sir. You are saying in Uganda it is impossible.
Yeah, Uganda I can see it is impossible. You know, these people are really they are above the law indeed.
But Uganda has ratified the Roma Statute and it has set up a bench of 3 judges that tried the commanders of the Lord Resistance Army. Some of them were tried in Kampala, those who committed heinous crimes. The others were set free under amnesty. So don't you think that court, instead of writing to the court, that the basis why I said His Excellency Dr. Besigye could have written to that court, not ICC, because once a nation has domesticated by law, domesticated the court, then you don't write to the main court in Hague. You write to the special division of international crimes division of the Uganda Supreme High Court. There is a special division of a judge called Justice Kiza. I don't know whether he's still alive. There were 3 judges. That is the division that was handling ICC cases. And during the negotiations in Juba, we referred some of those cases of the commanders who did not sign the agreement and agree with amnesty to be taken that side. So, why I'm not saying Uganda courts are the best, but I'm saying there is a court in Uganda already, accepted by the Uganda government, domesticated ICC court. For example, the Renzori uprisings and the killings, what that took place in Renzori, should have been taken to Uganda, that division. There was no need of writing to the ICC in The Hague. You should have written to that division to do, and then ICC would send investigators through that court to go and investigate. That is all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't write to the ICC, Reuben. I am just straightening things, how they work internationally. And that is how it is working and how it works. That once a country has domesticated the court, you don't go again to write to those countries. Those ones come in as a complementary court. And that is why it has, you see, the reply they gave to Besigye was more painful, very painful reply. And I had told Comrade Besigye that let's don't write there, write to the court, which is domesticated. But you have a right, You are in Uganda yourself, so you know exactly what takes place in Uganda courts. I am not going to have an argument over that because I don't have much facts. But I have facts as far as the Uganda courts being domesticated locally for ICC division to operate in Uganda. Thank you. Do you have anything else to go ahead?
What you have talked about the different that different part of the where you write to so that the ICC can investigate through that department. I haven't been knowing about that, but what I know the courts of Uganda indeed they are shadows. They are shadows. You know, they are shadows indeed. Because that is it. They are shadows. I don't want to talk much. You know,
I know. I know. No, you are free platform. My brother, this internet has come. Nobody is going to shut anybody down. No. This in the new generation, the new one, you are not going to be shut down. People have to bear with you. You are going to set up these platforms in the future. These platforms are going, you have to discuss your matters openly without fear. If there are problems, we tell Africa, we as Africans, what does ICC help us? It doesn't even give us any funding. It's not giving us funding, Reuben. It's not giving us any economy, no food on the table. But it is only looks like people go and commit crimes, then they say we shall go to ICC. No, let's stop this. Let's make our courts work. If the Chief Justice of Uganda is not working, if the Chief Justice of Kenya is not working, if the Chief Justice of Burundi is not working, if the Chief Justice of Tanzania, South Africa, everywhere, let's make the courts, our institutions, work. And let's call upon them. Now you have got a platform, you have got a Twitter space, you have got Facebook, you have got Instagram, you have got TikTok. The younger generation are not going to be stopped. We must clean this thing now. Otherwise, 5 years to come, the politics is going to be very, very hot with these Twitter spaces and so on. You will not stop people from talking about even the things that you would not want to hear in public. Thank you very much.
what you need to know, eh? Hello. Yes.
Go ahead.
What you need to know is that here in Uganda, the chief justice is appointed by the president himself. So you cannot pick somebody who's gonna poison him out. Okay. So here in Uganda, all the board of all the justice appointed by the president himself.
Is Robin? Is it why you are talking so low?
No, it's not the reason. It's not the reason.
You are talking so low. No, you have your phone now. You have the capability to talk.
I'm not talking so low. Guys,
We can't hear you. Maybe there's you recompose yourself. It looks like you're under siege.
it's not the case. It's not the case. But
Yes.
here in Uganda, according to the constitution, yeah, the president is given powers to go to pick out, to choose all the justices who are to work in the courts. And the parliament is just there to approve, to screen out, yeah? That is it. But the president cannot pick a person who is going to poison him. That's why the previous years back, it was 2021, when the king of Uganda just was took out of the country and to get more treatment, yeah? Reaching there when at the burial ceremony of the district speaker of Uganda, the chief justice came out and said that the king of one of the leaders those leaders that were the king himself, one of the kings, the Kabaka of Uganda, who went to Germany using the presidential plane. But indeed, he was lying just because of what the people claimed that, of saying that why is the plane of the government, the plane of the county, taken out by the speaker and being there to the board of the speaker go back for all that time. and they say they come out of Uganda use the plane of the king, the president, just to go for treatment in Germany. And it was a lie just because after the premier of Uganda just came out and said, how could you say something you don't know about? The king of Uganda used the plane from Netherlands. So you see, even the chief justice cannot feel afraid just to spit out things he has no truth with.
Okay, Reuben. Reuben, hold on the microphone and stay there, mute your phone. Let's hear from Fisinendo. Fisinendo, where are you from? What is your view?
You talking to me, eh?
No, I'm talking to Madame Fisinendo. I can see Fisinendo, you are next. You have the microphone next.
So I leave it on, or I leave it. I put it.
No, mute your phone and wait there. You have made good points. But let me ask you before you go: do you want Uganda to remain in the ICC or leave the ICC?
Uganda needs to go out, but before Uganda leave in the ICC, we need our courts to activate fast. Right now, they are shadowed.
Okay, thank you very much. Reuben needs to get out, but before it gets out, something must be done at home. Thank you. Bakwete, my friend, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Good afternoon, doctor.
Bring the story now.
And all Pan-Africans on this space. I love you so much. You see, if ICC was doing its work, it could be a good one if it was performing its duties. But the problem is here, doctor, and all Pan-Africans. The problem of why Africans have been trusting ICC is that our local courts, our home courts, were attacked by these dictators, by the leaders. They are controlled. And again, you find that where you have to see is also occupied. It's like running the rain in the swamp, going to hide in the swamp. You are seeing the rain. That's why you said that you told your friend Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye to come home to the home courts. He know that they are controlled, but now he is hiding in the swamp. The rain is coming up, and the nearby thing which is to help you is the swamp. You run in the water to help you from the rain. So the things are upside down. But one hope we have is the Africa of today is not of yesterday. I do believe that 100%, that the Africa of today is not of yesterday. And as you said, everything is going to change. We are seeing these things. The ICC, if the ICC was performing, if they are not segregating, they do the cases which they have interests in. If they see that there is something, the interest, those people who control ICC, they see that there is interest in that case, they enter in, but they leave issues which are affecting the commoners, the majority, they leave them to suffer. So the hope we have is that the Pan-Africans are rising. These things before, they were not there. The spaces, this thing, doctor, you are raising the hearts of many people. I wish these things could go on countries, per country, per country. This thing is going to raise the hearts of Africans. And I believe, ICC is very useless to Africa, very, very useless to Africa. To me, it is useless because it does not help us. Does not help the commoners. If they charged on when they had interest in that thing. When you see cases which they have been acting on, when you follow it up down, you find that they have their interests behind those cases. So it is our duty as Africans, we ourselves, to raise up in wherever you are, in which country you are, whatever country you are, and raise and fight for ourselves. Not these courts, even the courts, whether from, I don't know, now in Kenya. Kenya is at least not like Uganda. Kenya, they are good, but we need to raise the standard of the judicial system, the judicial part, and these arms, they should also act. The executive, the judiciary, the legislature, they should perform, each do its work. But now everyone, this you find the executive have taken all the arms. That is what is in Africa. Executive is taking other arms. Or you find that like when you watch some parliaments in Africa, you laugh and you say, why is the taxpayers' money being wasted? When you watch how they are being controlled, and the people whom you send, they fear to talk, and these are the representing the majority, because the speaker is the power. When she says, they are controlled like children. They cannot speak out. They fear because they know speak is controlled by someone. When you speak against the speaker, you are speaking against someone who is bigger than the speaker. So you keep quiet, and the issues are dying from there. Courts are down. Africa, the ICC now. Doctor, I don't have much to say. Just to thank you for raising us up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bakwate from Uganda, Kampala. My brother, you have raised a number of things, and you say Africa should quit and go and make its institutions stronger. That is the pinnacle of our discussion today. Why Africa must quit ICC and Article 127 of the Roma Statute. The framers were not stupid. Miriam has read to you exactly what the article says. If the marriage is not very good, do you stay there? If the wife and the husband are quarreling every morning, every night, every lunch time, fighting, throwing plates over dining table, do you continue staying in the house? You pack and go. And go and look for some other places where you can have peace of mind. Is ICC helping Africa? Has it helped us at all? Where has it? Now it has made even a terrible mistake, which we are seeing now, that you are going to arrest Russia, a Russian president. You are going to break a third world war. With a nuclear weapon, Russia could release it on all of us, and we go home to God. What is this a mockery? Can ICC deliver Africa? Can ICC? Why should everybody in Africa think of ICC instead of thinking of the courts at home? Let's have Mr. Enefioki, GG. I don't know, tell us from which country you are from. Mr. Enefioki.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Nefioko.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us where you are, who you are, where are you from, which country you are speaking from.
I'm Nigeria, talking from Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria. Can you hear me? Am I coming out loud? Yeah.
We hear you 100%.
Yeah. Well, the topic is very interesting, and I will, in fact, ISIS, the way I see them, I don't think they are of any beneficiary to Africa. We are not benefiting anything from them. When it comes to Africa, it's not working at all. I think Africa itself, they have a union, and the union is not even working. It's not even functional. I don't even know what we function or work in Africa before we said we are going to Africa. I see. We have a lot of examples, especially what is even currently happening to us here in Africa, especially here in Nigeria. It's nothing to write home about the IC. A lot of crime being committed by these leaders, by these political leaders. Nothing is done to you. They will just overlook things. They will make a threat. They will say they will make a move, but nothing will come out of it at the end of the day. So what is the essence? What usefulness is this to us, to African countries or to other nations? They can only function when it comes to the big countries, the powerful nations. But when it comes to Africa, the lesser countries, there's nothing like ISIS. It's not working at all. It might work. Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't even do anything at all. But where you need them, the area you need them to act in Africa, to come to the rescue of a state, of a nation, of a tribe, of an indigenous, of a particular person, then you will not see them. You will not see them at all. Where they should come to a rescue for the poor person, poor masses suffering, you will never see them. So that is why I don't even know their relevance at all. They may carry name, ISIS, but they are not relevant to us. They are not useful to anybody. So I rest my case there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Gigi from Lagos. You are saying it is a 0000. It should get out. We should get out of it. I agree with you, because why should you wait when people are being killed? This ICC doesn't come there. Some parts of the world, they don't come. People have been dying in Somalia with the Al-Shabaab. Nobody has gone there. Nobody. Nobody has issued a warrant of arrest for Al-Shabaab commanders. But we know their names. And we have put photographs. Kenya has put photographs of the commanders they want. ICC has not helped us at all. So for me, I think the best thing for Africa to do is to walk out. We told them to walk out a long time ago. Look at Ethiopia, Tigray and Ethiopia. They have gone to there. They have now got a report and they don't want to come out to indict people. They are running to go and indict Mr. Putin. But Ethiopia is equally a country which has suffered. Tigray people suffered. Ethiopians have suffered. We want to find out how people were killed. Who killed them? But nobody, this ICC selects where to go and not to go. So why should African country? It doesn't pay for us any economy that is a donor country, a donor agency. ICC is not a donor agency. It does not donor any money to us. We instead pay for the existence of ICC. We contribute. So why should we contribute to a court that is selective? That's all I'm saying. Let's have more discussion.
All right, Doc, we can't get you. We seem to have lost you.
Or you are.
But you're back on now. We can hear you.
Yes, yes. I can see many of you. I was saying Anita, Bakwat, Joe from America, my princess. You have been very active. Thank you very much, princess. You have been active on my Twitter handle. Thank you, Prince, not princess, Prince. My brother Prince Philip. Thank you, Miss Tweet. Thank you very much from Lagos. I know this the pressure there of elections. Nobody has even ever issued a warrant of arrest for Mr. Buhari. And you know how many people have been killed in Nigeria. In Cameroon, how many people have died? No warrant of arrest for Paul Biya. But we have gone to arrest Mr. Putin. We want him because he's needed for international public relations. How can you arrest? How will you arrest Putin? Surely, no. Maybe there's a miracle coming. How will you touch him? This is just stupidity of the highest degree. So, Radio Punchline Africa, sukuma hiyo one record of Tanzania, that let's relax a bit as we get our ideas. We're about to finish today. We shall not stay long. Let's get Mr. Onyebucho Joseph as you collect your ideas. Yes, Radio Punchline Africa in Nairobi, music. Are you there, Radio Punchline, or you have disappeared?
No. The radio Punchline, they're setting up, and they should be joining us in a very short bit. So, just a moment.
Thank you very much. Let's get Speaker Onyo Joseph. Tell us where you are, who you are. Take the mic. Mr. Onyebunchi Joseph. Onyebunchi Joseph.
Yeah.
Comrade Onyebunchi Joseph.
Yeah, can you hear me? Good morning, sir.
We hear you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know, I actually didn't understand what the topic was saying about, but until you put a breakdown to that. You know, coming to African Living ICC and, you know, quitting ICC. In fact, we Africans don't need to quit ICC, just ICC alone. We Africans need to quit entire anything that has to do with the European Union and the European countries, because with this, you know, we keep pushing ourselves to these people, and these people continue using us, we Africans. They don't see us as anything. They don't, you know, there's always this should I say philosophy of a thing that they make Africans and country as a jungle, or why the European country as a garden, a beautiful garden, and other rest of it. And that's why you see all the time Africans are always jumping, trying to move from their home to their own place to, you know, to the Western countries for, you know, a better greener pasture. These people has continued to use us in all round. Just talk about what is happening in America now, because the war between Russia and Ukraine is actually affecting them badly, hard time. Talking of Russia, ICC, you know, granting a warrant arrest to or asking, you know, saying they should arrest Putin. You know, when I saw that news, it was a kind it was funny to me, because I wonder how you arrest a man who has, in fact, such a man, not even, because Putin is not an ordinary man you can just arrest like that. He's not a man you can just wake up one morning and say one. If before you arrest him, then that means you need to arrest Biden too, because he has a case to answer in ICC as well. Yeah. So, saying Putin needs to be is, I saw that as a bullshit. He can't. He can't. In fact, he's not. It's not even happening. It's not going to happen. Because all those things are just a mere words whereby a whole country and a whole people and a whole somebody from nowhere, he make a law, but you be the one to disobey your own order, disobey the same law you make. It's nonsense. Africans, okay, today I think I got a news from someone, from the United States, that is saying that the US are now giving people green visa. I don't know if that is true. I don't know why. And mainly people you see that will float over that place will be Africans, because they know what is coming up to them. They know what is about to happen. They know if care is not taken, they will. In fact, it's going to be a battle between them and Russia, not even Ukraine. Because if Russia want to take down Ukraine within 24, it's not that they can't do that, but is there's a level. I don't know how to put it though. Oh, I believe whatever Russia is doing today is for the betterment of their nation, and to protect the lives and property of their people, because he has seen and know what we become of Russia nation, if he eventually allow Ukraine to join NATO. I always tell people that this so-called NATO of 18 is a devilish organization. I don't know what you think of it. I don't know, but that is me. It's a demonic organization, because it can be using the same thing to suppress other nations. It can be using the same thing you call the same organization you kind of put it is to empower other nations and other stuff and so many other things. Then you are using the same organization to suppress people. It is stupidity to think of that. They see the power in Russia and everything. That is why they are trying all possible best. Now look at all their banks are going down. Russia don't no longer use fuel, dollar, whatever, as China as well, and so many others. And look at what is happening to them. And as their dollar is going down, so the US power is going down. Coming to ICC, we don't have any. We Africa need to stop. We need to think back, because we are not like, we have no place with these people. These people see us as nothing. Africans need to wake up. These people see when we continue to talk about new colonialism, it's still happening in Africa. If you don't know about that, if it's not happening, then why? Okay, just was it yesterday or a few days ago? I think actually a few days ago, American were kind of angry or whatever. I don't know how to. I've forgotten how the news came about some group of people that were killed in somewhere. I don't like facts. I don't. I've forgotten how the news came about though, and I begin to wonder. Oh, you saw that actually. That means other deaths that has been occurring all this while, you haven't been seeing that, and you haven't been, and other petitions have been written to your parliament and offices. You haven't been getting the.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You have raised very serious points here, and your points are. You are
Yeah,
saying we do not on the ICC.
Sorry, can you hear me?
We are hearing you, but I am now
Hello?
the one speaking. You are still on the
Hello?
microphone?
Okay. I just got a call. I thought I was disconnected though.
No.
Okay. Oh.
Finish up.
So,
Finish up.
oh, just like I was saying before, these people only care about what they gain from Africa. Okay, just like what is happening between them and Russia. If eventually these people discover that they are going to go down with their world power, let me bet you they are going to come for Africa. Americans are going to come for Africa. I'm telling you, they are going to make a kind of law or a what let me say a kind of not really a law or promise to Africa most of the African leaders for Africans to begin to use their money so that they can grow back. It's going to happen. It's not that it's going to happen because I'm about seeing it coming. These people see Africa as nothing. They only care about what they take from you because and go. They don't care about your life or property, anything at all. Write millions of petitions to them, write thousands of petitions to them. They don't care. They don't want to know. Are you talking about the Britain, who their own person is in DSS dungeon, a citizen, Mazin Nandekano, who has done nothing but just to preach for freedom of his people, and is being held incarcerated in DSS dungeon. They are not saying anything about that. Now that should tell you that if you are a citizen of America as a black person, if you are a citizen of any country in the European world as a black man or a black woman, once you are into any issue, you have anything to do, to do that, if you are doing anything that is affecting them, once you get into any trap or any problem, they are not going to come for your help. They are not going to come for you. Whether they see you, if they in any way they can waste you, they will, because they see you as a problem. They see you as a trap. Because you can't tell me as a British citizen who is being held and kidnapped from Kenya to Nigeria, being held in Nigeria by the Nigerian government, even while the court has ordered his release, and yet the Britain are not doing anything about that, and still yet they are still committing the more genocide in Biafra land, and yet nothing is being done about that, with a lot of petitions being written to them, to the ICC as well. Yet nothing is being done about that. And then you tell me that these people love us. We Africans are the one who are forcing ourselves to these people, and that is why they have been using us. We keep forcing ourselves, pushing ourselves to these people, calling in European wars, calling in European countries, calling America, calling them Britain. We keep shouting and calling these people for no reason, for nonsense. If we do not wake up and fight for ourselves, fight for our rights, fight for what we believe in, then you know you are still a dreamer. You are still dreaming. You think these people will help you? No, they will never. You can imagine that over close to 2 years now, he's still in Masnan Dekanu, he's still held incarcerated in DSA London, and yet nothing is done about that. Then do they love you? Do they care about you? South Africans today are still fighting. Look at
Let
our
me
brothers.
let me interject here. You are very
Yeah.
right. You have a point, Joseph. I am one of those who is very dismayed by our African heads of state. When they get power, the first flight is either Washington or London. Why do you go to seek legitimacy when you have been given power by the people of Africa? If you have been elected, I saw your presidential candidates of Nigeria. I was in Chatham House myself. I saw them telling, they were speaking nonsense to an audience that does not know that Nigeria has got 241 waterfalls. You know, the audience, why did the presidential candidates go to Britain to speak to get legitimacy? Why do you go there when you have been elected by people? And why do we, like now, the framers of the constitution of the Statute of Rome were very clear that when you feel you don't want to be in ICC, you use Article 127 and then walk away. The only country in Africa, may his soul rest in peace, that listened to me, Dr. Matsanga, was Burundi. Burundi. The Burundi late president, Nkurunziza, sat down with me in Bujumbura and said, my son, my brother, is younger than me. He was younger than me. I said, please, brother Elida, write this statement. How do we quit ICC? And I wrote pages, 42 pages. I wrote and I said, your legal department can clean the English here and there, but this is the way to quit ICC. And the Burundi left ICC. So if there is any crime in Burundi now, you have to go to the Security Council to seek permission before you step your foot in Burundi. You can't just walk in Burundi like a casual, a small chief prosecutor with the jeans, wearing jeans, coming to molest men with suits, men with integrity. A small prosecutor who has nothing, comes to harass people on the continent, and Africans are clapping. Not me. Not me. I refused. From 2005, I rejected this court. When they came to Uganda and they wanted to divide my country into several parts by issuing warrants of arrest, confusing us. And I want to take opportunity here to thank President Museveni. We don't agree on a number of things as far as democracy is concerned, but democracy is a long journey to make. Democracy does not come in a day or 60 years. It comes in years. United Kingdom is 1,966 years of democracy. For us, we are only 62 or 63. So we might have more time to agree to disagree. But on this one, President Museveni stood firm and said we have to go for peace talks. And for the first time we went for peace talks, we resolved our conflict of northern Uganda. But ICC had come to divide us in a very bad way. And if we had followed the ICC, Uganda would be nowhere now. Because the people they are issuing the warrants cannot be got. They are in the bush, they are animals. You issue warrants to an animal, where will you get Konyi? You are just issuing a paper, but where will you get him? Issue 5, where will you get them? What? We physically went ourselves and got him. And sat down and said, no, we want peace. I myself, I said, we want peace. Even if you kill me here, but Ugandans want peace. You have been fighting for over 23 years. You have not yet captured a town. How long will you fight? Then this stupid ICC comes in. After seeing us making headway with peace, they say, oh, we want warrant of arrest. We went to challenge them. I went. I'm telling you frankly, check the record. I went to The Hague in 2007. I went to that court with Chisano. We went up to the court, to the judge, Peter Cows. And he said he's arresting us. He said, arrest us. Arrest me, I don't care. I'm not the one you have issued a warrant of arrest. You have issued a warrant of arrest to the people we have seen. You know what the ICC said? Now we are going to arrest you with Chisano, President Chisano, so that we'll bring them, then we release you. We said, go ahead. When the Secretary General of the United Nations heard that we had been arrested at the ICC headquarters in 2007, he ordered for our arrest in 10 minutes. Our release, 10 minutes. So this is not, for me, I have that enmity with this court because of that. Up to today, and I was telling people were laughing at me. The Kenyans got it. 3 years passed. It happened in Kenya. I had experience. I came to Kenya, I told them, don't listen to this stupid court. But now, the point here is this. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys have taken themselves there. We are there. What do we gain from ICC? You have sentenced Mr. Ongwen for 25 years. He will serve half of that. He has already served about 7 years. Tomorrow he will come out. You will have to give him a new identity, a new passport, resettle him somewhere in the world. Ugandans, if we were sentenced in Kampala, Ugandans will know that we are feeling it. Ugandans don't feel it. The international community is the one that enjoys because it has arrested someone from Uganda and detained and sentenced him. Thomas Rubanga, Bosco Ntaganda. Look at the cases that have collapsed. Babuko, a president of Ivory Coast, dragged in. Bemba, a deputy president of Congo, dragged in, and you left the man who called him to quell the coup. Is that a court where you can say, I should put my country and waste time, my Attorney General, to travel there to meet a silly court? Sure. No. Thank you very much. Let me bring more speakers. We have very little time left. We shall begin with Mr. Vinduka, Julius Vinduka from Uganda, I believe. And then Ugochukwu from Biafra, Nobo from Biafra, Anne from Uganda, the lady. Let's hear her voice from Uganda. Thank you very much, my sister Anne. Joseph, you will come in later, but let's hear from Vinduka. Mr. Vinduka. Mr. Vinduka, you have the microphone.
Yes, I'm called Vinduka Julius from Kampala, Uganda.
From Uganda,
well,
yes. Everybody will know that we Ugandans speak very calmly and humbly. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, my everything will be summarized by wondering where were our leaders looking when we are joining this thing of ICC. Yeah. My question is, when Russia, UK, United States, China, they are not touched by ICC, then ICC is for who? Meaning ICC was for us, the so-called weak countries. Well, this was something wrong done by our leaders when we are joining. And it would be better to put it right by withdrawing our membership from that stupid thing. Take an example. Recently we passed the anti-homosexual bill. the noise they are making, it is as if we are among the states which form up USA, or we are under AU. Africans, it's high time we wake up. Africans, it's high time we wake up. And the AU have disappointed Africans. I don't know what they are doing. I don't know what is their stand in many cases. Anyway, those are my few words. Nice to be here.
I think, my Ugandan brother, you have raised a very, very crucial question. Who told these guys to sign for this ICC? Ugandans, if you ask Ugandans, what is ICC? They don't know. They don't know. And I believe every African here doesn't know what ICC is. What is it? We know there is a court. There is a court called the Supreme Court of Uganda, the Supreme Court of Kenya, Supreme Court of Nigeria, Supreme Court. Who told people to sign for ICC? We are now in something which Russia does not like, but we like most, which China does not like, but we like it most. We are even, in fact, we are the darlings. We can even kiss ICC from morning up to evening as Africans. But these countries are superpowers. They have food. They can give their people food. But for us, we are busy with ICC, that we are members of ICC. Some chief prosecutor threatening you everywhere. A small chief prosecutor with one law degree, like Ocampo, one degree of law, threatens the whole world. Some of us who have several master's degree, we have to bow. In Africa, we have to kneel, even if we want to wash Ocampo's shoes. My God, not Matanga, not me, not me. I refused it. So, Vinduka, thank you for raising that question. Any other person in Africa will ask, how did we end up where we have ended up? We have been even given time to quit, but we can't quit. What is all this? Let's have a voice of a lady, and then we have Mr. No, let's have, and you hold on first. Let me have Mr. Oguchuku from Biafra.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matanga. I really appreciate for bringing me in, and all protocols observed. First of all, I would like to correct my brother, my brother Onyebuchi, what he said, that they don't see us as anything. My brother, they see us as many things, honestly speaking. Those in Africa, they see us as, lab rat, where they can come and bring their HIV test, where they can come and do whatever rubbish that they feel, where they can come and take any resources that they want without any payment. They come to Biafra, they take oil without meter. They will take billions of barrels and tell you they took only 1,000 barrels and pay you for 1,000, and then for Africans in diaspora, they see them as laborers. They see them as those developers, those that have come to develop, to help them to develop their country, to help them to, make their country beautiful, build their country. Because so many works that them as a citizen of diaspora, wherever they are, they cannot do a lot of work that we Africans are doing in diaspora. So they see us as many things. It depends on which department that they see us as. So when you say that they don't see us as anything, I don't agree with that. They see us as many things, that willing tools that they can use for their own benefit. All right. So regarding the text, the topic of today, it is very, very important that we do this. I'm really happy that Dr. Matanga, you bring this out, because so many people don't know that there is a possibility of quitting ISIS, because these people, I have never seen any reason why we should remain there. the meaning of ICC has never reflected in Africa in any single way. Because if actually ICC meant good for Africa, they wouldn't have done what they did in Libya. They wouldn't have involved themselves or kept quiet what happened in Libya. In every other African countries currently, they wouldn't have kept quiet till now. So issuing arrest to Putin does not make any sense. Africans has been killing, and everything is just pointing back to what I am telling our people, that the agenda to reduce population is going on in Africa. They just kept quiet because their main target is Africa. To reduce population, they have to start from Africa, and that is what is playing out right now. We need to do everything possible to make sure that our leaders, or we hold our leaders accountable, because they are the puppet that these people are using. We, the youth, and every other persons that have risen up to this point, they cannot give us that opportunity, or they know that we cannot allow them to do that. That's why they will always fight. During election, they will come into Africa and make sure that they put in their puppet, the person that they can use to be subjugating Africa, keeping Africa, that because they don't want Africa to rise. Their success today, their prosperity today is Africa. And that is their fear, and that is what is happening right now. What is going on between Russia and Ukraine is a threat to them. If Africa rise up right now, they are finished, and this is what they are fighting. This fight is not just an ordinary fight. Africans need to rise up right now and take back our country. I'm happy that, as I said, that you brought out this topic, that we need to make sure that we, continue deliberating on this particular issue, and make sure that it is possible and that we can do it to step out from ICC, because there is no help. We need to do it ourselves. In terms of AU, African Union, those people are rubbish. They are sometimes we should check them. We should try to check these people that are representing us in AU, African Union. Those people, they don't do anything. They're just willing tools, and they take change, like chicken change, from what they can benefit in their own nation. These people deceive them. They speak only English over there. They speak English, and there are some even words that they don't understand. They just take it because it's a white man that is speaking English to them, and they will just take it in. They don't even know what it means. And they are helping these people to keep Africa in poverty. They allow Africans to be killing themselves, because of this fake unity that they built. And all the, because what is going on now is a planned agenda from the European Union, or from the West in general. So we need to wake up and step out from this ICC. Whatever law, whatever anything that is possible to be used to step out from this ICC, we need to take it up and step out from there, because they are not doing anything. They are not helping anybody at all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother from Biafra. Thank you for the contribution. I now want a voice of a lady, is none other than Anita.
Hey,
Anita,
that you say this is noble after Ugochukwu.
the what?
You said after Ugochukwu should be noble, but let me give honor to the lady. It's fine.
Noble, you are my friend. You know I technically left you technically.
All right, let the lady go.
Let's hear from the lady.
Let's respect the woman.
The first lady to speak on the platform. Let's hear. Anita,
all right, thank you.
Anita from Uganda, please take the microphone.
Thank you, Dr. Masang. I think initially when we look at why ICC was created, we look at when we look at the conventions that are being used by ICC, and we look at the statutes that were used to create it, we see that initially the people who created it, they had goodwill within them, and they wanted something better for the whole world, because by then the people who created it had the view that it should be able to be the last court of resort, such that for people who are committing genocides and crimes against humanity may be brought to justice. And though this may have been initially the target, I think with time, with the different leaders that came up, the initial intention, one way or another, there was no more following of that, because like in the current affairs, when we are to look at probably Russia and Ukraine, we see where the ICC has been falling. We see where these conventions, because the conventions, the articles have not been changed. They are still the same. But we see how they have been ignored, and we see how these leaders that are leading the ICC, or the countries that are superpowers, we see how they have decided to go with one side that they believe is right, or they believe that this side is the one that we want, is what they have decided to go with, and the other side they have decided to completely come against it, as we see how Russia, they have come against Russia all the time. So Africa, we keep saying that Africa must quit. Yes, and I support that, and we have a lot of sentiments about ICC, but we cannot start blaming the leaders that signed for us then, because when this thing was starting, our African leaders that were leading us by then, they believed in its good, and they saw that something was going to come out of it that was good, because I believe by the time all this happened, we had a lot of atrocities that were happening in Africa. So maybe the reason why we have a lot of African countries in this ICC is because by then the leaders that were coming in were the ones that were fighting the governments that they considered by then in Africa to be very unfair. So they felt like this ICC was going to help the African continent put these leaders that had done the genocides, the human killing and all that to justice. So we cannot completely bash them and ask why did they sign for us before asking, because they had us at heart, and they wanted the good of Africa. But right now things have turned around. And the reason, because at one point, Dr. Mathang, you gave an example of our opposition leader in Uganda, and you said that why is Besigye running to ICC? Why are African leaders running there? And I remember among the speakers, is it Ruben? He said that we have our opposition leaders running there because our system, our judicial system, is not proper, and it's really true, because when you read some of the Ugandan history, you see some cases that there is a time where we would have cases and they would move all the way from Uganda to the East African court. I do know this court is still functioning. It is still there, but I do not know whether it is still functioning as to how it is supposed to, because the reason why these leaders decide to go to ICC is because you find that our legislation, you find that our judicial system at our nationwide level, they are unable to bring some of the people that are doing these injustices. They're unable to bring them to justice. They're unable to bring them to courts of law, and they are punished. So they feel like the only resort they have is to go to ICC, though ICC usually, even when they go there, it is not looking at majorly helping you. No, it is trying to find a way. So this African nation has come to us. So what is it providing in return? What are we going to get out of all this? Because you cannot tell me that a president of a country is going to be prosecuted by that same judiciary, because first of all, that is even out. Like when we look at the Ugandan laws, we say that our own president cannot be prosecuted. He cannot be brought to to court for the things that he did wrong. So I think that is why you find that these opposition leaders, all these people that we have in Africa, they run to ICC because they feel like our judicial system has failed us. So I think we should strengthen our judicial system, because if there is an East African court running, then why aren't the perpetrators of the law being brought there? Why aren't we having people who are committing these atrocities being brought to court and the answer to these crimes? This Ogwen guy that was taken to ICC, why wouldn't he be brought to the East African court? Because I believe that we all study the same law, so we all know how to apply it. And these judges that are at the East African level can reason the same way that the judges at the ICC are reasoning. And since they're Africans, they know how well to serve the interests of Africans than the whites. But we have failed to strengthen these courts, because if maybe we had a court of Africa whereby people who have done the worst things are taken, then we wouldn't be crying out over ICC having control over us, over ICC interfering with our day-to-day lives and coming in and taking people that we believe are actually maybe innocent, or we because the whites are coming in to interfere with our lives because we give them an opportunity too. So our leaders that are getting out of ICC, I believe that at one point they may be right, but at another point the question is, if you get the country out of ICC and then you commit all these atrocities and people have nowhere to run to, because I believe people run to ICC, the Africans run to ICC because they feel like it's the last option they have. They have called out.
Thank you very much, Anita.
Hello, I'm sorry, I had received a call, so I went off. I don't know whether you're still hearing me.
We are hearing you.
Yeah, so now in probably when we look at, like, let's say now in Nigeria, they have been having a lot of atrocities happening, and their former president, they want him to be brought to justice and all that. But really, if you look at the judicial system, is their leader going to be brought to justice in their own country? Will that happen? That is a bit hard to believe that it will happen. And I would really be excited to see that happening if the Nigerians came up and decided to bring their own past president to the books of law. So you find that they will be pushing, let him go to the ICC, let him answer for everything, the killings and all that happened during his regime. And we may look at ICC in a bad way, but I think the reason why it is coming in is because we have failed as Africans until we come up with a solution. Because you people that are in this space, we have big people who are in this space. We have people that that have this power. Why don't you talk to them and they come up with such a thing? Why do we have to always run the other side? Yet you people yourselves can come up and do something for our continent. I just think we have to do something for our continent and stop complaining about ICC when we are doing nothing. All we do is complain. We complain they're interfering, they're using us as lab rats, they are coming in and taking our presidents, the beliefs that we have. They came in Libya and they disorganized the whole country. And unfortunately, the country has never come back to its own pace. And every African, by the way, is angry about the Libyan issue. But if you are angry, if you are that angry, then why don't you come up and suggest something that can work for us? Why are you just throwing the insults, blaming the ICC and not really doing anything. I think this is the time for Africa to come to action. Like we should come to action and just stop complaining, stop talking about neo-colonialism, because we have talked about neo-colonialism from the time I started studying. We were studying about neo-colonialism. So what are we doing about it right now? I just think Africa should come up and have a standpoint that it will actually stand up for and, work on it. Thank you so much, Dr. Matang.
Doctor, can I answer her a little bit?
Sister Anita, thank you very much for. Actually, you have raised very cardinal points. Is it our problem? Our own problem? It is. First of all, we complain, but we haven't performed very well in our courts. Our courts are a problem. Our courts are under siege from the executives. That's why ICC. Now we have gone to another court, but there is even a statute that tells us, leave the court. Leave it. But we are still there. We are, and 33 countries are still stuck there. Now we go to arrest Mr. Putin. Mr. Putin is going, for example, tomorrow, if Mr. Putin decides I'm coming to visit Uganda, will President Museveni arrest Mr. Putin? If he decides to come to visit Kenya, will His Excellency Dr. Ruto arrest Putin? If he comes in Tanzania, will Madam Suluhu arrest, or Mr. Paulo Kagame in Rwanda? These are the hot-headed guys. Can Kagame arrest Putin? Don't you think Rwanda will be finished in 1 minute? Look, we are playing with international. People have died. The point here is that people have died in Ukraine, and the people have died in Russia. America is arming Ukraine every day with the latest missiles. Now, I want to ask the people here on the platform. I can see well-organized, educated heads. For the first time, Mr. Lukwago has come back to his father. Lukwago, you left the father and you went away. Now you have come back. I have given you the co-host today. I can see Farai from Zimbabwe. I can see Joe from America. I can see very many of you. You have come. This is a serious question. Tomorrow we are going to cry here. But we are still there. We are not getting any donor money from ICC. Why are we in ICC? Why don't we make East African Court of Justice, which Anita has just talked about? Anita talks of a court. If a case is tough in Uganda, it is taken to East African Court of Justice. What happened to that ruling? Do we honor it? Which African judge can sentence a president? The Constitution of Republic of Uganda gives the president of Kenya, gives the president of Tanzania, gives the president. Every constitution in Africa gives the president of that country immunity while he's in office. But the big problem is, while we are arresting the people from this side, we did not arrest Bush. We have not arrested Tony Blair. They went to Iraq, destroyed it, killed it. They told us they are weapons of mass destruction. Maybe Joe is in America near the US headquarters. He knows where these weapons of mass destruction are kept. They told us Muammar Gaddafi have plenty of weapons of mass destruction. I've never seen where they have kept it. Why do we use it as a political tool to destroy Africa? That is my question. Lukwago, as a co-host, just cough and I hear.
Thank you, Dr. Masang. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Actually, Doctor, my concern, you've said that why is it that ICC never tried Tony Blair, Mr. Bush? By then when our President Museveni was still in good books with the West, per se USA, it came up with a motion that suggested that any US citizen or president will never be tried in that ICC. My president was the second president to second that motion. That's why you see USA and its citizens are not tried within ICC. And I don't know, Doctor, or anyone from Kenya can recall Mr. Museveni's statement. Back those days, Mr. Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta was sailing in, the way he bashed at ICC after lecturing him, those power blockers at ICC lecturing him with democratic credentials, human rights credentials, when he attacked it. I don't recall, but I recall some few words whereby Sumani is supported, which he had impunity over heat. I don't recall, Doctor, you can inform me about what Mr.
Miriam has already mentioned the words here. He called them their busybodies, they are useless people. That is what he called ICC. And
bunch of useless people.
Lukwago, welcome back. I wanted you to yes, make your statement. Then we follow. There are about 4 people. We want to close the topic, and I just wanted to welcome you back to the platform. Feel free and to follow the guidelines. As we said, you have seen the debate has become sweeter by us not having any bad insults. We now learn quite a lot. You can see the people from Biafra have said, this is a good topic. We open up. Time is coming when internet, you can't stop anybody from criticizing a head of state. It will be there, and time is going to come. This Twitter space is growing big. There is no hiding place at all. Anybody can open up a Twitter space and discuss any head of state anywhere. So people should prepare for themselves for all this. So Lukwago, just go ahead and then land the mic.
So Doctor, as I land the mic, actually USA had sold it to its allies, more so from Africa, that it would use ICC to try whoever was causing mayhem for them. How Mr. Museveni had to take a conny to ICC when we have our functioning judicial system? So the problem lies within the African president who believed in the United States hegemony. I thank you so much, Doctor.
Lukwago, co-host, you have been promoted. You have come back, and this time you are polished a bit. Thank you. Your points are very good, very nice, and continue with the good work that you are doing. Criticize constructively, and don't be biased. If we get biased, then we lose the meaning of freedom and expression of the Plateau Republic. Now, on this, I had Joe, then I had Job, Farai, Paul. I'm going to limit it because I have to go. We have another space tomorrow. But I will begin with Joe, then come to Paul, Farai, then come to Paul, then come to Yogi, and stop there if there is time. Please, Joe.
Thank you, Dr. Matsanga, for giving me an opportunity to chime in my 2 cents on why Africa must quit the ICC under Article 127 of the Rome Statute. Um, I want to first start by recognizing all my African brothers and sisters on the platform. I hope you're all doing well, and I want to wish you well. I want to say that the idea of the ICC, when it was being initiated, was a noble idea. But over time, ICC was hijacked by Western powers, and we've seen them use it as an instrument to punish African heads of states. But even those who are being punished, or who the ICC was going after, they were not angels. The African court systems in their individual countries could not go after them. They were sacred cows. Above the law, they could kill their own tribesmen, they could kill their own countrymen and women, and they would get away with it. So for some reason, none of those people who we are trying to say that they were going after, none of those are innocent. Those are people who have, some of them have committed genocide, and they should be held accountable, whether in Africa or abroad. So we should not throw away the idea of ICC. We should not throw the baby with the bathwater. It is good to have it there. However, we should take advantage that its popularity is waning, and we should use that to embolden, to build our independent institutions in Africa. Right now, there is no Lady Justice in Africa. The Supreme Court of Nigeria is a joke. The Supreme Court of Kenya is a joke. The Supreme Court in South Africa is a joke too. We see people being taken to court, and nothing is being done about it, especially high-level politicians. We need to embolden our African court system, like our African Court on Human Rights. We started it in 2004. It's a noble idea that when you are accused, you should be able to face your accusers. But when we take them to The Hague, most of the accusers are not available to face the people who orchestrated some of those crimes against them and against their countrymen. But when we prosecute them here in Africa, the people who have been offended, they're able to face their accusers. Time and again, I've listened to Dr. Matsanga praise Museveni and praise Kagame on executing and setting up courts that brought people together after after um, um, after conflict in northern Uganda and the Rwandan genocide. That is evidence enough that we in Africa, we can handle our business. We can prosecute our own. We don't need to send them to the ICC. However, we need to make sure that our court systems are strengthened. We need to make sure that they are independent, they are impartial, and they are going to dial in the justice that is required. At the moment, if we all leave in droves, if you leave the ICC in droves, that court system the ICC is going to collapse. But I would love to see the day that they not only hold Vladimir Putin accountable, but George Bush, Tony Blair, the former French President Sarkozy, and others who have sanctioned the mass killings of people across the globe. If they can do that, then it would truly restore their shine, or restore their glimmer. For now, I will stop short at saying that do we need the court at ICC? Yes, we still need it. We still need that international authority out there. Otherwise, the dictators in Africa, they will run amok on their people. In Ethiopia, we know what's going on in that conflict. In in Kenya, for instance, people will not even think about violence because they know that one time they were threatened with being taken to the ICC. They know someone's watching. So we like that supervisory, or we like that sword of Damocles hanging over our leaders, warning them that anytime they can strike if they try to arm their people against themselves.
Joe,
Yes.
before you leave, and you are not going to hide in American imperialism to tell me that you need it. You need it. Why is it that you don't tell your own bush to be arrested?
The United States is not part and parcel of the
No.
Rome Treaty.
You are partly a citizen of the United States of America. And when you can never, you know very well, with the American passport, you can never be touched. ICC will not touch you. Why do you wish us, who are still on the continent, who are suffering on the continent, to be touched by ICC? And you, who is telling us to be arrested, cannot be arrested. Show me the rationale. Come on, bring it on.
Dr. Matsanga, you want me to defend American exceptionalism? It's a very sore topic.
No, I'm not defending. No. There are 5 countries on the United Nations Permanent Security Council. 2 of them are signatories of ICC. 3 are not. And the 3 are notably 1, Russia, United States of America, and China. 2 countries that signed that you can arrest any British national if he takes part in any crime against humanity. Britain and France. Those 2 countries, any national holding a passport of Britain or France, if you go and kill people anywhere in a war, you will be arrested. But America, which polices the security, the ICC, remember, America tells the ICC to come and arrest us. America tells the ICC, go to Kenya, pick 6 men. We want them. We can't release them. We shall release Barabbas, but not them. You saw that.
I agree with you.
You know what they did. No, you know what they did on Kenya.
I do.
And I had to step in single-handedly. You know my role. I stood single-handedly. One single man, 5.9 or 6 feet tall, is Matanga. I said, no, the cases of Kenya are fake. Someone faked to go and arrest Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, and the other 4 people.
Dr. Matsanga, you know those 2 guys were guilty.
Not that people did not die. People died. Yeah. No, wait. People died. Why do we pay $2 billion? $2 billion to ICC to do what? To investigate. But ICC comes to see animals, comes to see our women, enjoy our clubs, then collect evidence from meat joints and the pork joints of Nairobi. And I say, here we are. We have got so and so. We hear he was killing so and so. No. We want an investigation based on facts. The question of Russia and Ukraine, Joe, why do you indict Russia and you fail to indict Ukraine? Is Ukraine using water? The missiles that Joe Biden, your friend namesake, is piling through Morocco, to go into Ukraine, are they hitting in the air? They are not hitting human beings on the ground in Russia? I am asking. I'm not a Russian. I'm not a communist. At least I own property. So I cannot call myself a communist. I own some property somewhere in the United Kingdom and elsewhere. So I'm not a communist. So don't blackmail me by saying I'm a communist. I am a capitalist, but I have to query the rationale of indicting Russia and failing to indict Ukraine when Ukraine is also using guns to kill. Is Ukraine firing blanks? Those missiles of retaliation, are they hitting nowhere? Are there no children in Russia? Tell me something here now, Joe. Are there no children there? Why didn't the chief prosecutor go to indict both sides, like we did in Bosnia, like we did in Yugoslavia, like we did in Sierra Leone, the Sierra Leone tribunal, which sentenced Taylor to 57 years, like we did in Rwanda. The Yugoslavian tribunal, Milosevic, died when he had not been sentenced. Another guy died. Another one was sentenced. The one from Bosnia was sentenced. Croatian generals are in jail. Why have we done double standards? And why should Africa? Now, I've asked you a question. Putin is going to come to Africa. If he decides that before I go back, let me pass by Kenya, should Kenya be given sanctions? Should Kenya arrest Mr. Putin? Those are my questions. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Joe, land your mic now by making a rebuttal. Then I go to Farai. Then I can close on Mr. Yogi. We close, we call it a day. I want somebody to see the irony. Oh, Noble. Noble has not talked. I'll close on Noble, Farai, Yogi, Noble. And then I close. I want somebody in to talk, to tell me about Ethiopia. What is happening there? Two prosecutor sent two people to find out. Why is he not publishing the report publicly? Why is he giving the United States report first for them to read and make a conclusion that Ethiopian government did this? Give us the report. It's our tax. We are the people who paid for those guys to go to Ethiopia. That is what I'm talking about. Farai.
Thank you, Doctor, and thanks for hosting the space. So I want to sort of delve into the history of the ICC. I think a lot of people have sort of dwelt on that. For me, I think that where I want to focus is on how we move forward. And to answer the question directly, why Africa must quit ICC. So I'm for the motion. Of course, maybe a bit of contemporary history. Over the years, the AU has had these discussions, and I'm sure you're aware, Doctor, that South Africa lobbied for this particular motion for very, very just reasons, and it was at the height of when they had been asked to arrest the leader of Sudan at the time. And they differed with it because they had troops that were running peace missions in the country, and they felt that it would jeopardize the security of their troops. And as a result, they did not arrest him and they let him go. And you are also aware that that particular country had been sanctioned by the United States for many years. This is not to suggest that the issues in Sudan were the atrocities in Sudan were not justified and should have been looked at much closely. But it's when they are utilized and politicized at a geopolitical landscape to then sort of lobby other countries to act in a manner that jeopardizes their own national interest. That's the issue. And that's what the debate was about: the undermining of sovereignty, the undermining of internal domestic realities that speak to the region and the continental's multilateral institutions. That was the issue. Its capacity to undermine the national sovereignty. And in recent times, we've seen in the declaration of, so for example, people used to argue that America is not a country that should be included in the debate of ICC purely because they have not ratified their agreement. Well, there we have it. Putin has not ratified. In fact, Russia was never signatory to it. But yet we see that they actually have the propensity and capacity to do so. So it boggles the mind what the difference would be. If we can talk about Russia, we can equally talk about America in the context of Iraq, which at the time was signatory. So and remember that the law speaks of the territory in which these instances happen, these issues occur. And when investigations were pushed last year, as you are aware, a number of the American government actually came out and said they would sanction the judge. I mean, it was 2 years ago, sorry. They would sanction the judge. So the capacity to investigate was there. Now, with Putin, it's not just an investigation. They have clearly ordered a warrant of arrest. They didn't go that far. They didn't care about that particular principle when it came to the United States. They didn't care about. They cared more about the threats made to them and the potential of losing of U.S. influence. And that's critical. What makes this problematic, especially for Africa, is when an institution whose delivery and mandate is justice, equal justice at that, at an international standard, fails to meet that stress test. 80% of its cases has predominantly been African cases, justified or not justified. If they have demonstrated, and there is clear evidence that there's geopolitical advantage points that are utilized by more powerful states, only to then be implemented or expected to be implemented by weaker states, that creates a problem because it cannot confidently, or at least be seen to be, just. And if the premise of the establishment is justice, and it is seen to not being able to deliver it, but appearing to be biased and echoing the very arguments that were made 2-3 years ago by the AU, it is then time to revisit that discussion and get rid of it. Or rather, a surge of us to leave. Why? It's high time that we built our own institutions that are connected. Perhaps the multilateral institutions that we do recognize that to a degree have been effective is the United Nations. Okay, so to a great extent, we should work with multilateral institutions that we believe, as Africans, have worked in our favor in order to create support systems that strengthen our own internal institutions. In the absence of us creating an African dedicated institution of law, the same way we're ratifying our agreements with the Africa Free Trade is the same way we should do so in terms of our court systems, strengthening our court systems, because even as we join our trade agreements, we should also have the support of a court that enables us to have recourse even in our trade arrangements as countries where we will differ. So in that particular instance, it means that as we pursue economic enjoyment and economic connectivity, we should equally not divorce that particular importance of economic trade with justice, the delivery of justice, and we should look at it not only as an economic imperative, but equally as a way of ensuring that we can strengthen our own internal systems and equally strengthen our democracies. But let the solutions be African. And one part of the reasons why this will not work is that the AU itself, 64% of its budget is not local. So we need to change that. We need to have our governments that actually make commitments in terms of their GDP that can contribute to the establishment of that. And those budgets need to look at, for example, a clear framework should be created within the AU in which we commit a higher percentage of contribution so that we can localize the very funding of our institutions. And lastly, the notion that the ICC court would within the context of delivering justice at the international court and so forth, and the notion that we need it purely because in the meantime we need to build our own institutions is a lazy way to approach things. We must walk in true gum. We must have one principle first. We cannot. We are a country whose colonial history, and by the way, the comment about you can't continue talking about neocolonialism. We'll stop talking about neocolonialism when it ends. It hasn't ended. Therefore, it's still a subject. But here's the point: if you want us to continue to have a court, the ICC, why it is a mute point is ICC has continuously demonstrated that it acts within a particular bias. It has betrayed that particular confidence. And when that confidence is betrayed, the victims of that particular betrayal are us, whose history and attachment to coloniality is only as recent as yesterday. Now,
okay, thank you. Thank you, Farai.
Okay, man, sure.
Farai, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, before I come to the end of the show, I would like you to look at your signs down there. Nobo, you are going to speak, don't worry. The signs, those signs, what are they called? Images? What are they called? Yes. I want you, how many people on this platform today agree that African countries should quit ICC? Put up your hands. I want to count. Put up your hands. Please, you can put up your hand by showing. I want to count how many. Just put up your hands. Yes, yes. I want to see. Put up your hands. I'm counting 1, 2, yes, 3. Put up your hands, please. All of you. I want 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Lukwago, you are not yet decided. Mr. Lukwago, you are not yet decided. 17 so far. Are there more? Are there more? Yes, 18. 18. We are 60. We are 63. So far, 18 people. All right. So there you are. You see, Africa, we are already here. We are divided. Even some, we don't know. Maybe, I don't know whether people got the question correct, but I don't see. Okay, how many people say we should not leave ICC? Let me see. 1, 2. I want to see more hands. More hands. Allah. Undecided. How many people are undecided? I am a man who makes opinion polls. Quickly, undecided. And how many people don't know anything? Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Our last speaker will be Noble. Just make it 1 minute. Then I would like to request the radio station. Where has it gone? It has disappeared. Jesus Christ. The radio punchline, you disappeared in my absence. Lukwago, you disappeared. I've sent you the speaker now. Yes, Nobo, make your last comments, please.
Very good afternoon from
yes,
me,
go ahead.
Dr. Masanga. I greet all our brothers in this space. I've not spoken for the first time, but I will just make my speech very brief. Doctor, I think I will send you a document. Two it is I discovered just yesterday. One is the 11 agreement the 14 colonized Francophone leaders in Africa signed with France, that made African countries not to have up to 15% economical rights over their countries. And military-wise, they have no power of their own without taking permission from France, including buying arms from other countries without permission from France. So I will send the document, the 11 agreement they signed, which made French colonized countries in Africa the worst country to ever stay in. That's one. There's another thing I discovered yesterday from a Kenyan lawyer. And I think it's in the national newspaper. He wrote an article how families that were involved in drug in Kenya were tried to be extradited to America for prosecution, but they were blocked. Now UK has to come in, and the same thing that happened to Nnamdi Kanu is what happened to these people in Kenya. So they have used Kenya as a ground for taking people, and that is why UK could not talk about the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, who is their citizen, who came to Kenya with the British passport, and they could not do anything because they are already complicit in the same system. And that case is still on. The lawyer was asking, why should Britain do that without proper application of to extradite them to UK and to US for prosecution. So having said that, I am of opinion that Africa should quit ICC, but like our sister Anita said, our leaders don't obey their own court. I think it's only South Africa that have observed that their leaders obey the court and they respect the people's decision. But other African countries, they don't obey. They don't respect their own people's voices. They don't respect their laws. So my people, I would suggest that if Africa is going to quit ICC, what is the plan on the ground that would be a kind of a replica of a court in Africa that would be able to curtail the excesses of our leaders? We have seen even the recent events in Nigeria. The INEC pronounced elected president of Nigeria, Tinubu, who is now the man that engineered the killing of the NSAS youth protests in Lekki Gate in Nigeria last year or last 2 years now. And this recent election that everybody have seen how he engineered to kill the Biafrans, the Igbos living in Lagos, if they vote for Labour Party. And you go to the polling booth, the polling station, they ask you if you are not going to vote APC, then turn back and go. And as you're going, they are beating you. And I'm asking, how will such a person become a leader when he has already indicated where he's going? That is one. Two, I remember that we have regional courts, like ECOWAS court, which even sat on the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and they acquitted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nigerian Appeal Court and High Court acquitted Nnamdi Kanu, yet they still detained him. How will African Union have a judicial committee that can enforce such leaders and unseat them and try them and jail them and seek for redress for the victims by compensation and other things? That is two. Three, how do we as Africans come to terms to agree on ourselves that if a leader misbehaves, the other leaders will stand against him and make sure that the law takes its effect? Look at what is happening in Morocco and the southern Sahara people. Now, when we look at different places, it is happening in Nigeria and Biafra, Cameroon and Amazonia. They are taking people, killing people with impunity, but the leaders are not saying anything. African Union leaders are not saying anything against those leaders, yet they praise them. They said, no, that is a good government. So how are we going to stand as we are stating that we quit ICC? Of course, we know that ICC is corrupt. They are being used as a tool to control other countries that are not in the big five. Even the big five, they are equally dealing with some of them, like Russia, as many have spoken and we have seen that they have issued a warrant of arrest on Putin. But the question is, like other speakers said, what happened to the Iraq war? What happened to Saddam Hussein's killing? Who are the masterminders? What did they do to them? Did ICC know about those things? If Libya has a sovereignty, why did they not bring Libya to International Criminal Court before going to destroy Libya and kill their leader? Then there are other issues that are lying down. Biafrans have been talking about the genocide of 1963 and 67 to 1970. Why is ICC not calling General Gowon to answer for the killing of innocent children, innocent women, civilians? Over 3 million Biafrans that were killed, not by bullets, by hunger and other means. Why are they not coming up to answer for those if we have really ICC? They are not calling them because Britain is behind the whole thing. Britain is the mastermind of the killing. They are the engineers of even what is happening in Nigeria today. Yesterday, I was listening to one of the supporter of Peter Obi, Dr. Jeffrey Gutaman. Now, I listened to his space, and he said he's a Jewish man based in America. And I was wondering, a Jewish man who has saw or who has observed or who has read and understand the genocide, the Holocaust effect, you are supporting the Nigerian government that you have seen that they are just out to kill their citizens, and you are not saying anything. You are supporting Peter Obi. So, like other people who said, Nigeria people, when they want to go into power, they go to America and to Britain to seek permission, to tell them that we want to come and support us and all the rest of them. What is a mess? What a degrading nation leaders we have. What puppet we have on the seats. I think it is high time that as we talk on this space, Doctor, please, I want you to use your good office and your connection to begin to bring some right-thinking Africans together, not just on this space, but let us create another medium where they can meet, even if it's possible. Then those who have and those who don't have, we look for a neutral ground where they can come together and have maybe 2-3 days conference to discuss this matter and enforce it on AU and enforce it on other leaders. Let there be a systematic revolution that can transcend and remove most leaders who are already sold to the West and to these ICC masters. So I'm thinking that it will not be just talking on the space, but we start to walk on the ground to see how we enforce AU to understand the language that the masses of Africa are speaking. So like you ask how many people that we are in support of Africa quitting ICC. Yes, many of us want to quit anything United Nations because it's not benefiting us. They are just using it to keep us, to keep making us for the good of the West and for the good of the developed countries. One of our brother was saying, you go to West, you're looking for a job. Yes, they said they're helping Africa. They give you a job, they do this, they do that. They search for the best brains in Africa and give them good jobs over there. You will never remember Africa. So what are we doing to ourselves? The best brains are being taken from Africa and they are using it there. They are not working again. I mean, the West are not working again. They use Africa to do their work. That is a modern slavery. Go to Canada, they are taking people in Canada. That is modern slavery. Even though you claim you're free, they give you citizenship, you're working for them. But what of your country, your fatherland? What of your motherland, where you are coming from? How is the whole people? Because one of the musicians said, East, West, North, or South, home is the best. No matter where you go, home is the best. You must remember your
Thank
home.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, my dear brother Noble.
Thank you.
Send me those documents. I will
I
be
will
able to
try.
circulate them to people. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for having been there. We have done our best. The debate continues on Twitter handle Lukwago. Welcome back. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, again, we have a show, a daily show, another topic of Africa.
Doctor, we have not
Today was,
concluded about the oil. I waited on Sunday, you said, but I didn't hear anything.
no, Sunday we were not able because of technical hiccups, but I will bring that topic of oil tomorrow again to exhaustively discuss it. And I hope this time, Lukwago, you will keep time, because oil is affecting every African country where it is found. There is a conflict, or whether it is in the soil, there is still a conflict. What do we do as brothers? You better take it here today as a topic, but tomorrow we have a different topic. Tomorrow we have Democratic Republic of Congo.
They beat you.
We have Democratic Republic of
Why
Congo.
are you under the rain? Why are you under the rain?
Noble, can you switch off?
Yeah?
Can you switch off your microphone? Okay. Thank you very much. I come back. Thank you very much, all of you. The topic is the chat. The chat is here. It is on Congo. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for today. It has been a pleasure hosting you today, and for this and more other African topics that I continue to bring together with Radio Punchline Africa and the Punchline Africa TV, we shall be enlightening Africans, giving them information, education, processes, what is right, what is good, what can we do for our nations. I don't think, for me, if you have a statute that tells you if you are not, marriage is not very good, you continue to remain in the same house and you continue to be beaten by your husband all the time or your wife all the time. If your wife keeps on locking you outside from the main bedroom, do you stay in the sitting room forever, or you decide to go where you must have peace? It is the same situation. ICC comes to Africa to choose where to go. But there are so many crimes in Africa where ICC has not issued warrants of arrest. In Biafra, in northern Kenya, Nigeria, in Maiduguri area, Boko Haram, in Amazonia, in Cameroon, you know how many people are dying there who have no food. ICC in Somalia, ICC has not issued any warrant to Boko Haram. But here we are. What do we do? Thank you very much. To me, I believe it is time for Africa to quit and make a better court. Recognize, give it powers to sentence any crime of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes that are committed on the African continent. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless everybody. God bless you. Be there for us. Stand for Africa. This is Dr. David Matsanga hosting the platform, A Struggle for a Better Africa. Thank you. Ciao.